Alrighty. So, Chapter 5 is coming out soon, like literally tomorrow. So I figured what better thing to do than to go over some of the theories. I'm not going to be mainly focusing on Deltarune, but I just really want to go over this stuff. So, as far as Chris losing a hand, I wouldn't be surprised if this theory was true. But I just don't buy it. To me, it feels more like the loss of hand is more of a symbolism of losing control or having to give up their agency than a symbol of literally losing their hand. Would it be shocking if it turned out to be literal? Not really, but I don't think it's going to be that way. No, Asriel is not dead. Like, at all. He couldn't... There is no way that he would be able to hide this at all. Unless if he is using, like, the power of determination, resetting every conversation to perfect check all the charismas all the time, it would be untenable. It would be, like, impossible. Just not going to happen. Oh my. Wait, really? Wait, truly? I guess I didn't play this pacifist. I didn't play the neutral route enough. I... Sacrifice... Maybe... But... I don't... I mean, like... I don't think it's going to happen. Like, I don't really think it's going to happen at all. It doesn't seem like the kind of game. If anyone's killing themselves, it's Rousey. Hometown as a cult. No. I mean, like, I don't think the hometown would be any sort of cult. It doesn't seem like the religion is that huge of a deal. Like, it's not as much of a deal as it would be for any, like, small community, but it's not like everything revolves around the church. Make sure you go to church. Make the angel's teaching is infiltrated every single part of their life. I don't think that at all. Local religion, sure. Cult, it's not a high control group. If you mean cult by tiny ass religion, then yeah. Be a bit disappointing if it was. Yes, 100%. It's absolutely closed off. Like, how? How? Like, I don't know how it is, but it definitely is. Cowboy type character. No. As much as I want it to be true, it would be good if it was. But I don't think it is. It's just, like, a cowboy character, maybe. Woody, absolutely not. But I will never get tired of the friend inside me means. The original sand is actually Deltarune. Always been hopping. I don't think that's been true at all. It'd be a bit disappointing if it was, but like, it just doesn't make sense to me because like, they're from Deltarune, they go to Undertale, and that's basically it. Them to have constantly been dimension hopping makes it a bit odd. However, I can see why you would think that given the just like out of placeness of the house they have. Roots theory. Let me reread this because like I watched this forever ago. Lizard, right corner, orange tree, lineup, which is said to be tomorrow. Your root. So basically, yeah, I can buy this being true. This is a really good theory. I do like it, but I think it probably will be maybe a little bit true. Not sure about how likely it would be, but seems mostly fine. The main problem is that there's some bits that are just a tiny bit off. Now then, I know that the game is not perfectly one-to-one. We saw that with the weird root thing. You didn't have to find a little goober in the second board in order to start freezing people. So, maybe? But, yes, I do like it. It was very well thought out. Third Prince. We have 2 Prince of Darkness. This... This is based on nothing other than lacking a color. Now then, will we meet some other prince-like character? Maybe. But, like, it's based on nothing but vibes. This is also based on nothing but vibes, but I like it. And because I like it, it would be good. 4th skeleton character. Orange S. No. This is pure delusional, just, I want there to be more of a thing, so I think there should be more. There's not really any, like, textual evidence that, like, adds to this at all. It would be really bad and confusing. Colorblind Susie. No. She instantly calls out that the world looks off as well. So there's no reason why it should be true in the slightest. It would be... I mean, like... I wouldn't mind. But, like... Hold on. It's probably a tiny bit loud. There we go. That's a bit better. Oop. Yeah, I wouldn't mind. Multiple Dark World locations in a singular chapter. Yeah, this seems like a fun thing to have happen. But... it could be for Chapter 6 is that, like, the things are going to be easier to make because they have to be using just a bunch of assets. I would like this to happen. Really like this to happen. Frisk and Char's relationship in Undertale is highly obfuscating and contradictory. It clearly implies that Frisk and Char are the same, what with Frisk holding Char as the main motivations connected. Flowey's monologue. Yeah, at that point in time, the human in Undertale is an impressionable revival reincarnation of Kara, whether that be via vessel or flower. It's an identity only comes to fruition the past was dropped by the player solidifying their... How is this related to Deltarune? I don't get it. Sure. Dun 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 dun. Already in Chapter 1, the question of who fits into what roles. Yeah, this would be... I like the idea of role swapping, because the prophecy only cares that, like, its objectives get... how I see it, how I like to see prophecies interpreted in fiction, is that the prophecy does not care about specifics. Some things, it only cares about what it says being done. Now then, the Deltarune prophecy is extremely specific, but it's only extremely specific in certain areas. Rousey did say exactly as foretold by the prophecy, but there's a lot of spaces in between the prophesied bits that we've seen. Oh, and by the way, for the final prophecy, the final tragedy will unveil. I think the final tragedy is that by Darkner's hand, the dragon must be slain, which just explains why he wouldn't let Rousey do it. He wouldn't let, he said Chris isn't going to let it happen, and I'm not going to let that happen because I don't want myself get killed. Rousey won't let the Darkners kill me, and Chris sure as hell is going to protect me. So that's what I see it as. Like, he's going to have to be, like, Susie, she'll have to be sacrificed. Role swapping. I think it would be awesome if that was true. Cressel. Yeah, I love Cressel. This I like. I think it's really cool. Oh, I really like the that Chris is the is a vessel goner person. and I think it would be really neat because it makes sense. Because like, I'm not a Death Knight fan. Yes, most of the textual evidence points to it, but it's just like, I don't know, it's too popular. The vibes feel off. It's like, also some of the evidence people cite for it is dumb. Like, oh, she's a baseball. No, it's not. It's a rotating sphere. How is she supposed to draw a pitch dark orb that's rotating? It doesn't have the stitches in the ball either. And it's just like a swirl, like a yin-yang. Anyways, next. Friend theory! No? What? Why? Why? This doesn't make any sense. Missing arm? Caddy's missing arm? That makes nothing! Alright, now this one I like. Where it's like, that friend is like Gaster, like a thing that's being controlled by Gaster, like an entity sent out by Gaster. Definitely Gastery adjacent. I love that idea. I think it's really cool. And this is the exact same thing as that in my mind. I think like these both are like super interchangeable and like work really well together. And I really like the idea of of friend being like related to Gaster, like a tool of them or a servant or like a familiar, like, ooh, the witch's black cat. I think that would be a great idea. Because it doesn't undermine friend's importance. It gives Gaster a little bit more agency in the story. And it would allow us to have some interaction with them before whenever we ever have our final interaction with them. Because, like, at this rate, we're gonna have barely any time to get to know Gaster. At all. Okay, this one is really funny. This one's purely comedy. It would be awful if it happened. It would be really dumb! But it's really, really funny to have Freight Friend as Joggington. Friend is a manifestation of fear and darkness. Now then, if it's not Gaster, then Friend has to be a demon of some kind. Like, because them just being like nothing, just like, oh, I'm Darkener number 55,000. No, please, you've done too much mysterious spookery to be like normal stuff. I'm thinking there's some kind of like a manifestation of a fear of like other people would have, or like one of the characters, maybe like Chris's fears, or like fragments of like Noelle's fears. That doesn't really make sense, considering the locations that we see them in. But still, Shadow Mantle Holder. Mantle Holder's name is Eram. This is not good. It's just, it's the name of the song. No one else really has the name of their song as their name. There's Attack of the Killer Queen. And I think that's it. Alphys has her song as her name in Undertale, I believe. But that's it. There's nothing really else. So, no, it's not Eram. Shadow Mantle Holder is Friend. No, I don't like. They summon a bunch of friends, so Friend would either have to be a class of entity, or there's a secondary lesser friend, or it has like multi-presence and can like clone itself. So like, wouldn't mind, but no. Main problem also with is the boss specifying armor is exactly. Wait, hold on. Oh, itself is the boss. Okay. This one's fine. I can totally get it if that was the case. But it does say the shadow mantle that I'm holding, which implies that not I, the shadow mantle. It's not like, take me and do your strongest. It's, well, I have to go afterwards. So, like, there's not a lot of strong evidence for this one. It's really flimsy, but I'd be totally fine with it if it was true. So I guess that means totally fine with it, we wouldn't mind. This one, however, I do like. Again, it doesn't make sense for like, oh, I have work to do, like at all. But it fits so well with the burning pizza, burning Icy's pizza thingy that happened in what's it called? In the sweepstakes. This one's also fine. Same issues as before, where it's what's it called? Same issues as before, where it is the oh my god, my brain is not working. Whereas it just has to go off and do something. It's like, Chris, I have to go off and go play and do activities. But how would that happen if it doesn't do anything else? Shadow Major Holder's Rousey. No, we see them outside when we leave. It would be awful. This one, however, this one is fine. It's not likely. It's a good theory, but it's not likely. It's not likely. Good theory. But not likely in the slightest. Because again, he has to go, I have to go off and do something. And then stone? So clearly no, they don't have anything else left to do, because that's how Dark Worlds work. So it can't be that. This is okay. This one's a good theory. This one is a very likely theory. I don't think this is very interesting as a theory. It's like boring, but it is likely, given the familiarity they have with each other, the nature of Shadow Mantle Ram being like, you're like, I'm gonna like totally body you, and you're like, I'm like overhead of you. I'm in charge of you, and I know all your secrets. Like, it makes sense from that angle. That's really about it. Rousey object theories. I don't want Rousey to be a physical object. But Rousey... But Rousey is very likely a physical object. So I have a huge personal bias here. There's nothing pointing to him not being a physical object other than, oh, he's special and weird. He can go between the Dark Worlds, and he never turns to stone. But beyond that, it's just a Darkner, man. Plushie. I think of all the object theories, this one's my favorite because it would be really cute. I think it'd be like a keychain plushie kind of thing. This one is maybe, because it really depends on what they want the red headband to symbolize. At the same time, it symbolizes Chris being a demonic little gremlin during their time, but also symbolizes their hope of being like a way better person. Being like the idealized version of themselves that they were never able to be. So that, like, makes sense to me. I'll say is Chris's knife. Like, I would think the knife would be something different. But it's okay. The knight. Sorry, I recently saw a theory about the knife being the Black Knight, and I was like, huh? Being the Roaring Knight. I was like, huh? And how move? But I wouldn't be shocked. Forgot the green crayon. Not likely. but seen around a bunch. Okay, next subject. Roaring Knight and Belting Theory. Strong textual evidence, but I dislike it a lot. That's it. That's all there is to it. This one also has a lot of textual evidence, and I would not mind about it, but I don't think it's likely. This one, on the other hand, yeah! I like Rudy Knight. So here's the biggest objection. So one of the things that we should notice is that characters can be extremely weak and yet still be frighteningly dangerous. Like, look at Sans. Bro is 1 attack, 1 defense, freaking 1 HP, and yet can smoke the heck out of people. And also, Gerson is dead. Just straight dead. He's a corpse. And yet he's one of the strongest Darkners we've ever seen. There's no reason why the power in the Dark World needs to be at all related to the power in the Light World. So Rudy could still be really strong in the Dark World. Now then, you may be asking yourself, so how on earth did they get Undyne out? I agree, that makes 0 sense. However, Rudy and Asgore are besties, and Asgore is a big, buff, strong guy. I believe that Asgore is enough of a pansy, no offense to him, he's enough of a big softie, that if he's been convinced by his friends that this is what is needed, he might do it. Call it a character assassination, but there's a chance that it is just how he's thinking right now, that I gotta do this, I gotta redeem myself. I don't think he's fully in on the sacrifice part, but he's like, oh, Undyne's been like injured or whatever, because I think like the Roaring Knight totally conked the heck out of Undyne before they got out, before they left the Dark World. So, because they insta-gibbed Susie and Rouse and bonked Chris hard enough that they fell over. I don't see them having a problem with knocking out Undyne in the Dark World and then handing him off to someone to carry to the shelter. And that person, I assume, would be Asgore. And also the freaking evidence of the, why the hell would you bring Susie here if you haven't introduced them to Susie before? This is a no. Like, I get it. I really get it. But no. This, funnily enough, this is just because we've already seen Noelle's role in the Dark World. Funnily enough, this I see as more likely. It would be disappointing. It would be, I would not mind or care, but it'd be really odd. So, this one is, it's fine. It's fine. It's not that bad. Azrael Knight isn't awful. He could have come home from college early. Like, he could just go places. He's an adult. He can do whatever. But, like, it's not hugely convincing. Funnily enough, I saw a really convincing theory for voice in the code as Azrael. And I can buy that, but a bit more easily, funnily enough, than Azrael Knight. Now then, how is he voicing the code? It fell into a dark world from, before in college. Logistics are hard to make sense, but thematically it makes a bit more sense. Don't worry, that theory is really unlikely to be true, and I'm a very much Des is the Knight is the girl in the code person. Gosh, too much We'll say this though. Des Knight, best fan art ever. Played with a girl ages ago. Girl Knight has to be a girl. What? What? No. No. Not approved. Caddy is not the knight. Shadow Projection Knight. A light world object is literally the shadow figurines of the wall. Lubrate made it the shadows. Just Chris poses. Knows what the Chris is currently doing at the end. Knight appeared. What? I don't understand this theory at all. I'll say neutral. I don't get this one. Smiley face. Death's Knife Knight. Knife? Oh, yeah, this. Dess's knife that has taken Dess's soul! No. It'll be disappointing. Chris Knife Knight. The same issues. It has the logistics of the knife can't move at all when it's in the dark, when it's in the light world. And it has to be able to get between places independent of Chris. It would be disappointing. Time Traveling Knight. Frick it. Yep, this is a peak one. This is peak absolute cinema. It's so dumb, and I love it. This is also, honestly, one of the ones that I believe the most. It was like a summoned demon. You know how, like, the demon summoning happened? This could be them. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, morality. I think they're just a tool of the prophecy. And that's it. They're just a tool of the prophecy. I don't think that they have a huge amount of agency. The only one that would have a huge amount of agency is Rudy. Is Rudy or Carol Knight. Well, any of the Lighteners being the Knight. But honestly, my favorite theory is the Knight is their own character and is a demonic entity that was summoned. Alright, let's see here. Asgore. Heavily hinted. Chris. Chapter 5 Dark World. 2. 10. Noelle is an instant 10 if Rudy dies. Noelle is an instant 10 if Rudy dies. Roaring Causer summaries. Pretty rough. Dark Worlds. Knight Chris. Some sort of fake out. I don't think anyone's going to cause the roaring specifically. Who will cause the roaring? I don't think it will be anyone specific. I am fairly certain it will just sort of cascade out of control. Susie, no. Noelle is a 6 because she would have no idea what the hell she's doing. Again, this is a Rudy dies type situation. 9 and then 7. The Knight is the most likely to cause the roaring because that's the freaking name, and if they're like a prophecy servant, then that's what they would do. Chris, I think, is more likely to do it than Noelle, just because Noelle seems almost too timid to be doing Dark World stuff. Not like making the Dark Worlds, like it's not like she's incapable of, but it seems out of character for her to do so. But she's way more likely than Susie to do so. Susie would have to... Who was your top candidate? I wasn't there! Oh, yeah, I wasn't there at all. I wasn't really doing night theories back then, or like thinking about that at all. Never heard of. Never heard of. Oh, this one was considered. Never heard of. Never heard of. Nope. Nope. Top pick. Never heard of. This one was considered. Multi-night fountain maker equals 9. This one, yes. Yup. Yup. Alright. Never heard of. Alright, let's see here. What's next? Closet theories. Dark worlds. Beltagon, night is hiding there, was gone. Seem to have entered the dark world where the fountain was made. Huh. Yeah, that seems pretty smart to me. It would make sense. Why is it causing? Definitely in there. Teleportation closet night! You know what? This would be pretty... Oh my god! So... the freaking closets might function as teleporters, right? As was said here. But, what if there's a dark world in the Holiday Manor basement? Remember how there's like the gaster sound down there? What if that's it? That would also reopen the door on Carol Night. And also, it would make Rudy Night slightly simpler if there's like a... if he opens like a little bitty baby dark world in the supply closet. But then again, he can't close it. So I guess that wouldn't really work for Rudy Night. But it would at least let him teleport home and then go to the hospital. Yeah, I like this idea. I think it'll be really swag and cool. Mayor Money Tunnels! I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't think it's likely. Chapter 4 Closet Dialogue. What is this? Some think every closet night related is dumb. It's just a fandom joke for people to freak out over. I would not be surprised. Toby is Tricky Tony, you know him. Caller theories. Staticky caller is Carol. Listen, I think it's Carol, and then Carol in the Dark World, maybe. Like Carol in the bunker. So, absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if it wasn't, because it's really weird. Yes! There we go! That's the perfect one. Conspiracy theories. Which characters can I do? Okay. Triple Trucies. So this is the only options for them. Carol is working with Carol. Definitely working with Carol, and I think they're working with a knight. Alvin, no allegiance. Actually, no, they're definitely working with Carol. We saw that. Fun Gang. Rouse. Fun Gang. But they also have their own shit going on. Noelle. Fun Gang. Rudy. Definitely working with Carol. These really so much depends. No allegiance. No allegiance. I think this is another case of triple truces. Asriel is going to be There's too much uncertainty. I think that covers everyone. Oh yeah, I think Sham is working with the knight a little bit. Is working with, hold on, is working with friend plus, friend slash Gaster plus Fun Gang. Because they have way too much knowledge over, the prophecy to just be, like, the normal person. The knight... Okay. Here's the problem. Both of these are equally likely to be true, because if the knight is its own independent agency with its own independent entity that is agency, then it is likely to be the... Okay. Here's the thing. I think that the conspiracy that we are interacting with is the conspiracy by Carol. That's the conspiracy we interact with. Most of the events happening are instigated by the knight, and Carol is conspiring around them. You know, we should make plans around their plans! That kind of thing. But the knight is either a Lightner, as I said, Rudy, and is thus, or Asgore even, and is thus working under Carol, or is his own independent demonic entity that was summoned and is a servant of the prophecy, and therefore is just doing its own thing, and is working with Carol out of convenience, because it allows them to do something otherwise couldn't. What that is, I don't know, but they definitely are doing something with them. Chris is doing his own stuff. Chris has their own plans going on. Chris has their own plan, independent of the other three. Again, this is another triple trucy situation. I think they all have their own motives. When Chris tells them to. Gaster Frenzy Tigers instead. This is fine. I'm gonna be surprised. But Chris is absolutely not the mastermind of the plan. Because otherwise, what would be the remember you promised? That happens at the end of chapter 5. Chapter 4. Knight and Chris's relationship. Rate the girl played with Chris. Rate the girl Chris played. Oh my god. Okay. This one's fine. There's nothing really against it. I saw something a bit more convincing recently that the knight might be Des. The knight might be Des. That the girl might be Des. But I still think that it's Noelle, because that's probably how Spamton and Antenna met. Something they agreed to, even knighting Chris after the night fight. I think Chris intentionally teamed up with the knight. Now then, I don't think that they're working with them. So, two circumstances. Because again, there's just so much uncertainty in everything. Either Chris is working with the knight out of a sort of convenience. It's either they work with the knight, or the knight cuts them out of the planet. They have no control at all. So they're basically doing like a, well, if I gotta be some kind of collaborator, otherwise I'm fully cut out of the loops of power. Or they summon the knight, and the knight is kind of like serving an agenda that's supposedly subordinate to Chris, but not really. So I wouldn't care or mind either way. Again, these are equally as likely. This is almost definitely. Des wants to be human. Yeah, that's kind of peak. It's really peak. It's peak storytelling to have absolutely opposite, them be reversed. Des the Knight. Yeah, I saw this theory. I like it. Unlikely, but I like it. Switch between making fountains. So this would have to be the Knight and Des. So, sure, whatever. Not surprised. You know what? Sure, let's say they did. I don't really have any strong feelings one way or the other. This one, however, I feel like something special needs to have happened in order for that to occur. Knight does the knighting. Chris makes the Dark Worlds. I guess. It's not that big of a deal. Is no longer a proper lightener. Absolutely true. What? They're a person doing the best they can to accomplish whatever their goals are. They aren't being evil at all. They're not even good either. They're doing a lot of lying and stuff, which is pretty morally bad, I'd say. Oh. It would be good. There we go. Dun 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 dun. Absolutely. They're at least trying to appease them. Is pro weird fruit. The problem here is that, yeah, it makes Noelle braver, but if Carol knew what was happening to Noelle, she wouldn't like it at all. Player Junior? Oh, yeah. Definitely. Definitely is going to be us putting a soul inside them. Wait. Full-size human soul. Yeah, that. Yeah, the thing. The character morality. Oh, the character morality of Carol. She's a bit evil, but not like fully. Like if she is going to actually kill Undyne, then this puts it at a 2. But right now she's just a 3. We don't know her motivations. Absolutely the hell not. No, it adds nothing. What? Are you clowning on me? Yeah, Toriel totally did it. No. Neogaster! Bunch of theories about Gaster. Just a cool name. Gaster and his deal. Knows which lightner will enter Dark Rose. Yes, he has at least read the entire prophecy, and that should indicate which lightners will go into and not go into it. Again, exact same thing. Gaster will leave the fictional... What the fuck do you mean? No, How? Okay. It would be really confusing if it happened, but that would be cool. They are 1000% neutral. This here. Listen, the morality of Gaster entirely depends upon how immoral you think it is to, like, control someone's life. Alright, let's start this over. Let's see here. Gaster made the prophecy. It will be preferable, yes. And then this is also the exact same thing, because I saw a theory that this is Undertale Gaster trying to see if they can change fate to get the monsters out of the underground. And I think that's kind of a peak story, not gonna lie. Bow, 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 bow. Ugh. It's probably pretty unbreakable. I don't like that it's pretty unbreakable, but it's pretty unbreakable. Sealing the Grand Fountain. No, because both worlds are saved. Kill, sacrifice. The girl. Down, 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 down. Where is... Damn it. It doesn't have the dragon. Because I think the dragon must be slain. The girl. We will do... The girls love Chris! Here. Here. This is the most likely of them. Sealing the angel player. Here's the thing. This wouldn't make Susie react that way. I think this is indeed going to happen. This is 100% going to happen. But it wouldn't make Susie react that way. A time loop. Again, Susie wouldn't react this way if that would happen. And it's just not... No, it couldn't make that happen. Now then, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. Like, I wouldn't be surprised, but, like, it's not going to happen. Listen, this one's a good theory, but it'll be awful if it was true. Like, textually, it makes sense. Like, death of the author and whatnot, and, like, making a new story with new tomorrows and new friends. But, like, how would you do this? So absolutely not. Did you take? No. Not take it. How much are you in the fan base? Hells yeah! Any theories we forgot? I don't think so. What took precedence when rating theories? Story potential. Personal biases was a good solid 5. Cool conceptuality was a 6. This one is a 10, a 10, and a 10. How often were summaries used? Understand the theories. Some of the times. I was trying to speed read through these. Very good. OMG, it's a goat! Love the survey. Thank you for the free exercise. There we go. Da 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 da. Dun dun da dun da dun da dun da dun. Dun 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 dun. Hells yeah. Dun, 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 dun. That's a different language. All right, that's it. That's all I want to say. Have a good old time. Bye.